What is up, everyone? Paul from Timeless Productions, and today I'm going to be bringing you Outlast 2 ending explained in my own words, in my own thoughts, and all of that. And basically, what I took from the ending of the game, and on, talk a little bit about what I think they could do with DLC, stuff like that. So, let's go ahead and get right into this. So, first off, I want to start with saying that Outlast 2 is a direct cause of the Murkoff Corporation, as you guys could see later on in the game in Chapter 3 when you see the towers from in a distance and you see the light coming out and all of that. And if you read some of the documents, you could kind of see through it all that it's the Murkoff Corporation with the visions and the psycho psychomatic pregnancy, I think it was called. But basically what happens is when any women that are shown or like by the morphogenic engine or like anything that comes out of the morphogenic engine makes women have like a basic pregnancy, but it's not real. Like they have all the symptoms of it, like their stomach hurts and all of that, but it's completely fake, and they end up most of the time dying because of how fatal it is, because they lose too much blood and all of that. The pain's just too much. So that's basically throughout the whole game what's happening to Blake's wife, Lynn, is that she's experiencing this as a cause of the light that's coming through and all of that. And another thing is Blake's been seeing visions because of light, like what they did in the first game with the morphogenic engine, where anyone they put in it, they'd have traumatic events. They would bring back anything traumatic in their life and all that, and alter their brain, which is what's happening to Blake. His most traumatic event in his life was when Jessica hung herself, or that she was killed by Father Laudermilch and then hung up as a way of I can't think of the word, but like covering up the murder, and how he put it into Blake's head that it was all his fault and he feels guilt over it. So it's his way of also facing it, which is why the monster is actually Father Laudermilch chasing you throughout the game every time you go back into the Catholic school. And another thing is, the further away that they are, the less of an effect the towers have on them. The closer they are, the more effect you have, or the tower and the light has on them, which is why Noth and his group, the New Ezekiels, moved further away, because as they started getting these visions and stuff, it started altering their brains so much, and like, anything that Noth wrote down basically would happen, and all of that in their mind, because it's been said so much, and all that, like with the Antichrist being and all the kids, and how they had to kill them all, and all of that, basically. Another thing is at the end of the game when you're sitting there and Lynn has the baby and she says that there's nothing there. I know that there's been a lot of talk through the community about it being like the afterlife, because they're being like Catholic and Christian and all that, and her not being able to see the afterlife, but that's not what it is. It's the baby that he's holding isn't really there. It's all in his, Noth, and everyone else's mind, because they've been affected by the little light so much that it's altered them. And Lynn, from the very beginning of the game to the end, has been down in the mine 800 feet underground, so the light can't get to her or the heretics and all that, which is why they're heretics too, is because they don't believe what he's saying, because the light's not affecting them like it should. Another thing is the Scaled have syphilis and gonorrhea, and it's been said in a couple of documents, one specifically talking about how one of the guys had to go into town and get penicillin for Noth. It's because Noth has STDs and he's, sick with, syphilis, gonorrhea, and stuff like that. So everyone's basically getting it. I don't know why he hasn't been affected by it, but who knows. And another thing is, at the end of the game, you also do see that everyone ended up committing suicide, and you get to see throughout the game the reason why they committed suicide is because they think the end of the days are coming. But you see throughout the game all the stuff in the Bible that happens towards the end of the days start to happen in game. That's also an effect of the light and the morphogenic engine coming from the Murkoff facility. And what is happening is they're all seeing it since it's been said so much, and all like the religious talks and beliefs through all these characters, it eventually does get seen by them in this state because it's been said so much. It's talking about the Antichrist and all that. So you guys will see throughout it. Well, towards the end of it, we see the sun coming towards, but right before the sun hits, quotations on that, a light goes off, and that's why he goes back in to the Catholic school and sees the very end of the game, which is him and Jessica inside the class, and her talking about how she'll never let him go, he never lets her go, and all that. It's because that light is the Murkoff Corporation. The end of the world never happened. It's the Murkoff Corporation sending that light still, and it affects Blake because he's standing out there and he's the only one basically alive at this point. So, I mean, I know the ending isn't exactly easy, but there's a lot of connections between the games. As a matter of fact, you guys, if you see if you see my collections video, you guys will be able to see the document in Chapter 3 that actually links both games through a Jenny Rowland. She was in the first game, and she's now mentioned in a document in the second game. So it connects the Murkoff Corporation to both sites, and if you guys actually do read the comic books on Red Barrel's website, you can find the full connection there through the 5 comics that they have up there. How it travels between like agents trying to cover up the Murkoff Corporation and their acts against when using the morphogenic engine and all that. They actually try to find Miles' house and all this different stuff. But at the very end, they have coordinates that has been told to got his name, but they tell him by a guy named Simon Peacock these coordinates, and when he goes there, he finds the Jane Doe, which is how Outlast 2 begins, and brings her to the hospital, and this girl kills her, and it's like, oh yeah, she strangled herself, but it's the Murkoff Corporation covering that all up, and then you find Marta, who took actually a dead body of a guy of her husband or boyfriend, whatever, that he killed, and she takes the body back to Templegate. So, that's my explanation of the Outlast 2 ending. I know it wasn't too long, and I probably jumped around a lot, but hopefully you guys understand that this is the Murkoff Corporation. This is the effects of the morphogenic engine again, and they are using microwave frequencies and all that to send it to Templegate and anyone around them, and making them go insane, and that's why they all believe completely in the religion of the new Ezekiel and how they're following Noth unconditionally and all that, and why Noth is actually killing kids and trying to kill the outsiders, Blake and Lynn, and all that, and why the heretics and everything's happening. So hopefully you guys understand a little more, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Be sure to check back for more Outlast 2 videos, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.